Hiya. It's Thursday, so we're going to talk about stuff today. But this is Susie Parker Goins from Blue Lightning Healing Meditations. I'm a channel, which means I talk to your spirit guides they come and talk through me so that you can establish a relationship with them and work with them on your own. I'm an energy healer, which means I do Reiki. I can scan the body to identify blockages to help resolve them for you. And you can learn to do all this stuff, and you can find out those things that are holding you back. I'm also a past life healer and explorer. I show you how to look for and at past lives and identify the lessons in them and how to integrate that wisdom so that you can remove those blockages and move on in your life. I do these podcasts, or I do these videos twice a week. Monday, I did a video about self-forgiveness, and today I'm going to talk further about it. And so here, we're on YouTube. I have to remember where I'm at. So if you're on YouTube, then please hit like and subscribe, comment, and, go to anchor.fm and hit the support button. That's cool. Monday's meditation, they're about 20 minutes, and then Thursday, I've already done that. So the best way to contact me is all in the comments and how you can find me and stuff like that. I also have special pandemic pricing, so my email is the best way to find out how what I'm charging right now and how we can connect, whether it's through phone or on a video conferencing skill. So we can do all kinds of things to help you. Okay, so Monday's meditation was about self-forgiveness. And one would think that me claiming to be a spiritual person, that I'm free from anger and judgment and grudges. Well, being a spiritual person means that I am aware of these things in my heart, and I face them, and I strive to resolve them. Of course, it seems that whenever I think I've tackled an issue, another issue comes up. Like, it's kind of like an archaeological dig or decluttering my house. Oh, look, there's that thing. It's layer upon layer in this life, or past lives, and possibly future lives. They're all being uncovered. Well, as I stated in the intro for Monday's meditation, forgiveness can be a hot button topic. What is forgiveness? Who gets to forgive? Why forgive? Forgiveness means different things to different people. Some people of faith believe that their higher power is the only one who forgives them, and they trudge through life with the weight of the sins on their shoulders, on their souls, and they're beaten down about how sinful they are. Their self-worth is frankly shot with all of this sinning going on. And they find the Lord, and all of their sins are forgiven. I grew up Catholic. I remember going to confession a lot, once a week. I went to a parochial school, so that's a Catholic school. So I had the uniforms, the weekly mass, the nuns, the whole shebang. I was a good kid. I took the teachings of the church pretty seriously. I really tried not to sin, whatever that means to a 7-year-old. One time, I guess I was in 3rd grade, and I went to confession. I didn't really have anything to confess. So, I lied. And of course I included the lying in my confession, but I also included like swearing and a soupçon of coveting. I got a short lecture from the priest about the use of GD. That's goddamn in priest speak. And then I got my penance. Hail Marys and a promise to sin no more. Yeah, well, And I promise this will not become a diatribe about organized religion. I mean, if you're listening to any of my videos or podcasts, I hope that you would have open mind enough to draw your own conclusions. Think for yourself. Anyway, confession is an exercise in forgiveness from an external source. The priest, God, whoever, but not yourself. Okay, and here's another kind of, it's a more recent example. I was at a consciousness raising retreat. At first, I said I couldn't afford it, and then the facilitator cut me a deal so that I could. She tuned in and said, "Yeah, you have to be there." I now know why. That last day, all hell seemed to break loose. We were cleaning up. I got tired, so I took a break. I sat on the patio and drank a lemonade, and the facilitator yelled at me. She yelled at me that day, and then another day over the phone. I listened, I apologized, and then I was assigned the homework of calling every participant to apologize. See, I look back on that now and think, what? Okay, anyway, I started the exercise, and the few people I talked to said that I hadn't offended them. They were fine. There was one I talked to for quite a while, explaining to her what my perspective was. She finally understood it, I guess. Oh well. Anyway, I was still looking for an external source of forgiveness. And in both of those instances, not only was the forgiveness from an external source, but really not for anything big at all. Later in life, I do find that there are ideas and standards and outside influences that I'm more aware of, but I don't take them on. Yay, me. And now there are all these memes about how if you don't gain something that's not weight, but you gain a skill, or you can learn a craft, or spend a crazy amount of time making meals, or build a house, or whatever, then you must be a slob. Really? That's taking on another person's expectations or standards, not their resources. And then beat yourself up about not meeting that standard or having those resources. So stop it, please. Just cut it out. There is not going to be a quiz at the end of self-isolation about what you got done. So here's a chance to forgive yourself. You're doing the best you can right now with what you have. And there is forgiveness to be had. I realize it is to forgive yourself to myself. I get to forgive myself. I don't need to beg forgiveness from another person. I get to give myself forgiveness. So, what is forgiveness? I love this definition I found at Greater Good magazine, which is based at the University of California at Berkeley. Quote, psychologists generally define forgiveness as a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance toward a person or a group who has harmed you, regardless of whether they actually deserve your forgiveness, unquote. But see, this next part was crucial for me. And again, I quote, forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean condoning or excusing offenses, unquote. Okay, so for all of my time exploring forgiveness, I have felt that this last sentence about condoning or excusing offenses, that part of my thinking I came up with on my own was a flaw. Look, I get to forgive myself again. High five. I mean, I see self-forgiveness as reclaiming your power or energy from another. Okay, so let's take, for example, say somebody takes your parking space and you get angry and you carry that anger around with you all day, and that person's inconsideration has wrecked your day. You've given over a piece of your personal power to this person. You were so focused on them and your grievance with them, they have power over you now. And that's not an optimum way of being. If you take a moment to reclaim your power from them, saying, okay, whatever, to bring that energy back to yourself, that's forgiveness. Maybe what they did wasn't nice, but you can regain your ability to go through your day with your energy intact, with your sanity intact. So, yeah, that was a parking space. What about the bigger issues, the bigger stuff? Excellent question. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what a bigger issue is that you should forgive. I mean, it's your perspective that counts to you. But I can relate the bigger issue for me, and that was cancer. I'm not saying it to make you feel guilty about yourself. I'm not asking to take your power over this, but this is my big issue, my perspective. Got it? Background information is my mom died from colon cancer when I was 13. She was 47. 10 years later, my older sister Shirley died from breast cancer. So I was 23 and she was 27. I spent years identifying as that kid whose mom died. I kind of enjoyed the special recognition my sisters and I got from being one of the Parker girls, which was code for the family who lost their mother to cancer. And even some people today that I know today that I grew up with at that time, the parents too, they still see me as that. And I spent a lot of years sidestepping the issue, and now I realize it's something I need to work on, and I have. I think I've forgiven them. I don't know. I may have finally said whatever to the unthinking nut who told me at my mother's funeral that it was good not to cry. I needed to be a strong soldier. Now, while I still relish that this nun had a mustache and that nobody liked her, I have finally retrieved my power from her. Whatever, Sister Mary Kathleen, whatever. Okay, so now we flash forward to me being 51. After months of unpleasantness, I was bedridden. I was diagnosed with, oh, the irony, I was diagnosed with colon cancer and breast cancer. 3 primary sites. It hadn't metastasized. It all grew on its own. I spent 17 months in treatment. And no, I am not going to expound on the validity of the treatment options. That's all in the past. As of this recording, I am 8 years clear. And I intend to stay that way. You can talk to my recordings about cord cutting. And yeah, anyway. So my 3 children were approximately the same age as 2 of my sisters and I were at the time my mom was sick and died. And I saw all kinds of monsters on the walls during my initial hospital stay. And I can empathize with my kids. They were having to deal with their mother being catastrophically ill. And everybody was wondering, including me, would I survive? So that's when I set my whole being to the goal of changing the outcome of this story. I would survive. And I did. I am changed. Physically, emotionally, psychologically. But I am still here. I have forgiveness to give. Yeah, give it. I forgive myself for getting sick. I saw the greater purpose of it, and I had to change the end of the story. I had to heal my family, and I had to go through it to satisfy a piece of my soul's purpose. I have grown in so many ways. Compassion, spiritual insight. My channeling rocks, and I am open to enjoy so much more. I don't waste so much time on petty stuff. I mean, I've learned to ask for help, and I learned that some people will help, some people won't or can't, and others will run away scared. I understand that. And I think that is what part of compassion is understanding. Forgiving myself for getting sick, well, that's the question. I'm reclaiming my power. I'm reclaiming myself. And that's the goal. I think I have forgiven myself. I mean, I use my experience as a teaching tool. It's a story to explain different lessons. I don't do it to gain sympathy or to make anybody cry. I tell it to show anyone that I am still here, that I am kicking and laughing and swearing. I'm doing the things I can to make the world a better place. In many ways, I'm much better than I was. So people have deep, deep issues, far too many, that many people are faced with when it comes to forgiveness. There are events and relationships that require professional help and sometimes years of help to get to that point. I don't have the answers, and I don't claim to have all the answers, all the fixes for you to magically heal you, but I do ask you to look at yourself, to really look at yourself with love and compassion. Honor the life you have lived. See your humanity. Accept the consequences of your actions, but also realize that not everything was your fault. Fault is a blaming word, but someone tells you it's your fault, but understand it wasn't your fault. You are not to blame for it, and you can heal from it. Self-forgiveness is one of the steps to that. So until next time, blessings.